Show. Before I move ahead, let me quickly read out this important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not legal advice. Use of information is at your own risk. All right, after this very important disclaimer, welcome back everyone to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, where we dive deep into important topics that matter to immigrants navigating their careers in the US. Today, we are thrilled to have Jotsna Kethar, also known as Coach Joe, joining us again. For those of you who missed our first episode, Coach Joe is an independent educational consultant and college counselor who has a wealth of knowledge about how to pursue careers while on dependent visas. In episode 1, we covered the basics of starting a medical career in the US on a dependent visa. Today, we are excited to dig deeper into a crucial aspect of the journey: licensing, certification, internships, and more. If you are on a dependent visa, and if you are a dependent visa holder aspiring to practice medicine in the US, this episode is for you. We'll talk about the steps you need to take, the challenges you might face, and how you can work around them to make your dream a reality. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome, Joe. Welcome back to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you so much again for taking out time and doing the show.
Rajni, it's been an amazing journey, and it's so wonderful to see the different topics and the gamut and the wealth of information that you share with the subscribers. It's like a community, a family that you're developing and helping out everybody. So I'm very glad to be here.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Joe. And to our lovely viewers, guys, we are live not only on YouTube, but also on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and also, yes, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So make sure you subscribe to us. And the handle is Immigration Talk Show. And if you have any question related to this topic, so please post them in the comments below so that we can take your question and ask them from Joe. And now, Joe, without any further ado, let me take my very first question. So, Joe, it's been a while that we have done these shows, right? So, oh, I don't know. It's we did the first episode months back, right? So, for the ones who are joining us for the very first time, could you please tell them, what can they expect from today's episode?
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for having. I'm just going to recap. There are two kinds of journeys that we are going to discuss. One is being on the dependent visa. You're already in the United States, and how you can pursue medical career, whether your child is in a high school or it's you yourself who are on a dependent visa. I'm going to cover that, and also there's a lot of interest in people in India who have finished their MBBS, the medical career, who want to come and practice here in the United States. It's a rather complicated process, and I want to share some insight into that. So this is what I have today, and I'll let you lead it the way it should be, Rajni.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Joe. And like I said in my introduction, that today we'll be talking about licensing, certification, and all that. So let me start by asking my first question, which is about licensing. So, Joe, if you can please tell what steps are actually involved in getting licensed to practice medicine in the US as a dependent visa holder.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you the first scenario is when a person on the dependent visa has finished their MBBS or their medical degree in India, and they want to come here or they're here, then they have to pass something called as the USMLE, which is the United States Medical Licensing Examination, which is a three-step exam. It's rather a very time-consuming exam, but I know a lot of people who came through the USMLE, who finished their MBBS and they're practicing here. They're all parents of my students who I counsel, and I've spoken to them, and I know a lot of people who have done that. So the USMLE is a three-step process. Okay, so the very first step is a test that basically tests a doctor's medical sciences knowledge, which is like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pharmacology, microbiology, and pathology. And the first exam is like a day long exam. It has like 280 questions, and it's 8 hours. Okay, so basically it's like foundational. So this is the very first step that a candidate has to finish for the USMLE. Okay, and it's like a pass fail kind of a result that they get. After they finish the step one, the step two of USMLE is basically clinical knowledge, right? They want to see whether what they can do, like practicing a patient care under their supervision. They want to see that. So again, it's a day long exam with 318 questions. Okay, and it covers like all kinds of disease processes, diagnosis, medical decision making, and all that. I mean, these exams are pretty tough because I mean, it's a doctor, right? They want to see if a doctor is capable of saving lives, right? So that is step
Right.
two, right? So they've cleared the second hurdle, and after that, they need to apply for like a special certification, which is like for the Educational Commission of Foreign Medical Graduates. It's called ECFMG. I hope it's correct. So after they finish these two steps of the clinical exam and everything, next is the residency, right? So the residency, they need to find a match, in the sense they have to like physically come over here to the United States and work in a hospital. Okay, so there is something called as the National Resident Matching Program, where they have to do residency for 3 to 7 years. So they finish their MBBS, they finish their exam one, they finish their exam two, then they come here for residency. Okay, and at that point of residency is when they need a visa, right? So they can come on a J1 visa, which is like for 2 years, which is like a temporary visa, or an H1 visa, which we know is the employment visa. Okay, so these are the steps involved. And after they do the residency is when they do the third step, which is like a critical step, is to see how they can perform in a like an unsupervised clinical setting or anything, which is the step three exam, which is a 2-day exam, right? So basically, this is how the whole licensing part of it works if they have already finished their MBBS from India. Okay. If it is a student, like a dependent student who's like in high school who wants to apply to colleges, then there are two options. One is, no, actually three options. One is the traditional program where they do undergraduate. Here in the United States, they have to do an undergraduate. There's no MBBS, right? They can do an undergrad degree in any field and then apply to med school. So when they're applying to medical school, they have to make sure that they have organic chemistry, anatomy, and all those required mathematics. Take the MCAT exam, fill out the application, and then apply to medical school. Okay, so that's the traditional path, and that is always a good path. Okay, so and there are a lot of scholarships available for the undergrad. In fact, full tuition is also available. Doesn't matter if they are on H4 visa, dependent visa, any visa, they can come and apply. Then there is an accelerated medical program, the second version, which is a very good, well sought after program. Means it's a 7-year program. So after high school, they join a 7-year program where it's assured that they will be in the medical program. But because of visa issues, there are very few colleges that accept dependent visa. It's like Brown, University of Connecticut. All these are direct medical programs that they accept students to get it. And then there's an early assurance, in the sense that they get into the undergrad, and in the second year they can apply for the medical school in the second year itself. So all these are options for a student who's like having done their 12th, I mean, who are ready to apply to the med schools here, like the pre-med schools. So these are the different options that are there.
Wow, thank you so much for explaining that in so much detail. And so many people have joined us, and I've also received question from Nilesh and Amarjeet over here. And guys, I'm definitely going to take your question. Nilesh says, okay, Nilesh has a very interesting question, which I'm going to take after my follow up. So, but Joe, are there any timelines or maybe deadlines that dependent visa holders need to be particularly aware of?
there is no particular deadlines as such, right? So
Uh-huh.
if it is a high school student applying to colleges, then the undergrad deadlines apply to them, right? But they can
Okay.
also look over when are the USMLE exam dates available, what is the
Mhm.
requirement. They need to plan it out because it's quite complicated. You make a decision, oh, I finished MBBS, I'm going to pursue, come and practice here in the United States. Then you need to plan it out, right? When are you going to
Mhm.
take the step one exam? What do you have to prepare for that? Because it's a lot of prep. Like what are the
Right.
exam dates? So those are the kind of timelines that they need to be aware of. It takes about a year of 2 years of preparation to nail
Mhm.
the USMLE, because it's not very, very easy. It's extremely, extremely
Mm.
hard. So yeah, they need to give some time in studying for the exam and everything.
Okay. But what exams or evaluations are part of this process apart from this? And how long, should someone expect it to take?
Okay, the first step is they would have studied all those. The step one is the basic knowledge of anatomy, physiology, and all that, but
Mhm.
that they've studied in the MBBS. But still,
Mhm.
like any other exam, they have to prepare. There is like Kaplan, there is like so many institutions that they can go and practice those exams for the
Mhm.
step one. Okay, the step two is much harder than the step one. Okay, because that is like the clinical knowledge and everything, right? So
Right.
they need to like really practice it. And also, I know a lot of students who are in MBBS who finish their MBBS, their residency, they practice for a few years and then they apply for the USMLE or come into the state so that they can clear those exams.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for answering that. Let me quickly take Nilesh's question. So Nilesh says, can someone from commerce background enroll for medical education on age 4?
Yes. See, that is the beauty of the United States medical system is like you can have any degree, you can apply to the med school, but then you need to have certain science and math requirements done. So if you're in a commerce background and you want to like do medical, then you need to look at the requirements. I have that in my presentations. It goes in very detail and I don't have it right now, like organic chemistry, anatomy, biology, calculus, research, medical shadowing, all these are required. So you can enroll into a local college here, finish those requirements so that
Mhm.
you comply with the undergrad requirements required for the medical school, and then you can apply to the med school, which is MCAT. MCAT is the exam that you need to ace to get into the med school if you've done your undergraduate in the United States, right? So you have the commerce background, you add on top of it the science, math, clinical, research, volunteering requirements for the med school, then you
Mhm.
apply. And definitely there is a chance. And also, some of the med schools require they don't process visa, so you have to watch out for which colleges allow you to do MD, right? Because after MD you have to practice, right? If you have to
Mhm.
practice, then you need to have a visa, so you need to
Mhm.
see which college you can apply for the MD program.
Wow. Okay. Nilesh, I hope you have got your answer. Thank you so much for your question. If you have a follow up, please continue
Yeah.
posting your questions. We'll be more than happy to take it. And meanwhile, let me come back to my questions and let me ask you, Joe, that are there any specific challenges or additional requirements for dependent visa holders in obtaining medical certifications?
See, the thing is basically when they apply for the residency and everything, they've gotten their visa, right? So
Mhm.
if they have come to the residency level, that means they can practice, right? And
Mhm.
also it depends on the state that they are in. So then they have to get the state licensing, right? So suppose
Mhm.
for example, I had my own relative who came who came here after her MBBS. She was in a rather rural area of Pennsylvania where she did her USMLE and residency. See, those
Mhm.
are the kind of hospitals that really encourage international students because they don't have that many, and they'll process your visa as well, right? So it was a little bit remote, but she had a very good time working in the hospital, practicing residency. She completed for 3 years, so her visa was processed, right? And
Mhm.
after that, she was able to work. But then she was from California. She went back to California, got the
Mhm.
license from the California state for medical, and then they can practice. They can also get board certified, right? So it's never ending. The medical field, the certifications never end, right? But these are the basic requirements. Once they've gotten a visa to do their residency, then the path is clear to get their certifications.
Okay, okay. I actually was about to ask you that, do these challenges vary based on the state you're living in, or are they consistent across the US? So I think they do vary, right?
Yet they do vary. If you want to be in a metropolitan, very famous hospital, they may not process visas, right? Because
Okay.
the demand is not there. But nobody
Mhm.
is kind of going into a kind of a remote area, right? And it's much easier to get a residency, like a visa to like kind of go and practice there.
Okay. But as an educational consultant, have you ever encountered any particular cases where, maybe where the dependent visa holder faced a particular or a unique kind of obstacle? And if they did, so, I mean, how did they overcome it?
Okay, so actually, the thing is, it's pretty straightforward. If they clear those exams, it shows that they are legit. And I haven't like personally encountered anybody having kind of visa issues. The biggest struggle I've seen people having is clearing the exam, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so that exam is like so hard to clear that there's lot of respect and lot of demand for doctors who finish the USMLE, right? My
Mhm.
own cousin's son, he's in Ohio, right? He started applying for the USMLE even before he finished his MBBS. He had a lot of research. If your resume is very very strong, let me tell you, there will be a lot of hospitals and programs that'll be knocking on your door, right? So it's all about creating a profile. It doesn't matter whether you're in India or in United States. It's about the profile. How many
Right.
research papers have you written, right? How much clinical experience do you have? So depending on that, if you clear your USMLE, then the path gets, then the university that you apply for, the residency that you apply for, they apply for your visa and it gets cleared. And of course, there may be kind of backlog and everything, but I'm not very sure about like the deeper visa details. But the biggest struggle has been building that profile, building that resume, getting the right guidance to like clear that exam because it's so hard.
Okay, okay. So, Tabassum is also here, and she also has asked a question. But before I take Tabassum's question, I would like to take mine. So, Tabassum, I would like you to wait for a bit. Let me quickly ask one more question from Joe, and then I'm definitely going to move to your question. And so, Joe, also, how can dependent visa holders gain relevant work experience or internships while pursuing their medical education?
Okay, so the thing is, it depends, right? You can do volunteering. There is no problem doing volunteering. Like you need to have like a valid visa, a work visa, which you don't have a work visa. If you're on H4, you're not allowed to work, but you can still go and volunteer, right? So that adds to the experience. Do research and everything, right? So that's the main thing. And they also know when you're applying, they know that what visa status that you are on, and the expectation is that you're not, you cannot be on par with an American citizen or a green card holder, right? So volunteering work and clinical shadowing, research, all these are very 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 good opportunities that are there based on your visa. Even unpaid experience that you gain is extremely good to add to your profile.
Okay, okay. So, guys, Tabassum, Ishita, Amarjeet, Nilesh, I hope you all are making points and noting down what Jotsna is saying, what Joe is saying over here, because those are some great tips and great advice for you all. But Joe, I would
Yeah.
like to again ask you that is it possible for them to to network with hospitals or educational institution to build experience?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
they are welcoming. They know very well what is your visa status, right? So they know
Mm,
that. And anything that is not affecting your visa status, it's educational. You can always pursue a master's, you can always pursue research, you can always pursue unpaid internships, volunteering, non-profit organizations, everything that is valid, right? So you go and volunteer in a hospital or do non-profit. You maintain the record for that, how many hours you volunteered, who did you
Mhm.
volunteer with, getting recommendations, getting connections, everything. The visa set aside, nothing is stopping you from going and learning, gaining knowledge, contributing, right? So there's nothing like that.
Right.
You continue building that, right? The only thing that stops you is applying for jobs that pay. But other than that, the fringe benefit is always there.
But will the institutions or or these hospitals will also be looking at a particular profile to give them that kind of experience?
I don't think so. It also depends from hospital to hospital and their
Okay.
rules, right? and
Right.
and their rules, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can go and ask them and tell them that, hey, I'm on this visa, can I shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it allowed to shadow, right? Am I allowed to, is there some kind of a clearance, right?
Right.
So it depends on who has processed your visa. If you're on a dependent visa H4, it should not be a problem. But if you're H1 and you are requirements, and not only from India, all these
Mm-hmm.
hospitals and institutions, they get very good candidates from all over the world, right? So
Mm.
they have their own rules and regulations that they can approach and see.
Okay. Okay. But also, are there any platforms or programs that are particularly helpful for dependent visa holders to find these kind of opportunities?
I don't know, but I will look and I will share. And
Okay.
also, if it is a good opportunity, then I can share that on our website as well. I did
Definitely.
when some questions arise, I did reach out to some experts who are USMLE experts, who are doctors, who are university professors, who coach people in USMLE.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other experts as well that will guide you exactly in that way as well. There are people, and I can get them connected and get more information and find out if there are certain things available. And also, it's geographical, right? So the
Right.
thing is, it has to be near the 20-mile radius or the 30-mile radius that is
Mm-hmm.
drivable, right? So that's what I tell people. Sometimes people don't communicate over the email or the phone. Just go take an appointment and go to that hospital and ask, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like going in person and asking is better for an opportunity, right? Look around your neighborhood. There will always be universities, community colleges, hospitals, clinics, anything. Please go approach them, like physically. And also there are websites called as volunteer match. Volunteer
Mm-hmm.
match is a very good we'll put that, very good online portal where you get immense amount of volunteering opportunities. And you put your zip code, it'll tell you within the 20-mile radius, and it'll tell you what causes you want to um, you want to volunteer in. Animal shelter, like seniors, hospitals, refugees. You can put all those requirements and it'll give you. Okay, the best easiest way to like volunteer for a medical profile is to go to a senior home. Okay, there are
Mm-hmm.
senior homes, right? And you can ask them, I'm going to volunteer, you don't need to pay me, I'm going to volunteer, I'm going to give you company, I'm going to play
Mm-hmm.
bingo with friends and everything. He's 17, so they have ages, and they have adults. There's so many things that are available. It's called
Mm-hmm.
volunteermatch.org to see all kinds of internships and volunteering opportunities in your neighborhood.
Mm. Right, right. But you have to develop that interest and you have.
Neonatal ICU. You get it, right?
Okay.
So you can perhaps go and ask them that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to fetch you coffee, or I'm just going to take care of parents who had like an emergency situation with their
Right.
neonatal babies and everything.
Mhm.
And they always need people. The hospital needs volunteers.
Mhm.
You can be at the reception or whatever it is. You can just go and ask them about their rules, and they will help you, right? It's
Mhm.
not like one rule applies to everybody. Every
Right.
state is different, right? So you can go and do that. But neonatal unit volunteering looks really, really good on your medical profile.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, guys, again, I hope you are making note of all those things. And coming back to our viewer's question, Tabassum is here. Let me quickly take Tabassum's question also. She says, I have completed my MBBS and doing my 1 year internship in India and looking to go to USA for further studies. I would like to know if there is an option to give USMLE out of USA.
I think so. I think USMLE is outside only, right? Because that is the
Mhm.
exam that you need to pass to come here. So of course, I
Mhm.
don't think that you need to come to the United States to do USMLE, but I can double check that. That is something
Mhm.
that you need to clear two exams before you can even apply for the visa, right? So certainly, I think you can take USMLE from India.
Okay, but Joe, do you have any tips for her?
Yes, like the step one is the basic information, right? I'll tell you
Mhm.
what the step one exam is. So yes,
Mhm.
study for the understanding the applications of foundational sciences.
Right.
That's very very important, like anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, microbiology, pathology. All these are exams, right? So basically, it has 280 multiple choice questions, and it's an 8-hour exam. So you really need to prepare for it. Like there are Kaplan books, there are a lot of guides online exams and learning portals that you can really take. It's like an entrance exam, right? And the step
Okay.
two is the clinical knowledge, which is so important about the internal medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, everything that they have studied in the MBBS. But it will be a step further. So it's like
Mhm.
preparing for any NEET exam or any exam, right? But USMLE is far harder, which gets deeper into your medical concepts that you've learned in the MBBS. So yes, you can. I don't know if there are coaching, but there are coaching here in the United States. I can connect
Mhm.
you with a person who does exclusive USMLE counseling. But I think you can attempt it on your own with all the information that you get, like Kaplan books and all those things.
Okay, okay. And Tabassum, if you want to get in touch with Joe, so here are her details. You can give her a call at 866-618-9640. I would like to repeat the number 866-618-9640. You can also email her at info@giftedgabber.com. I would like to again repeat it for you, info@giftedgabber.com. She also has a website, so you can visit our website, www.giftedgabber.com. Yes, and you can get in touch with her so that she can help you with all your problems. And like she said, she can send you the details, of what's going to help you with the USMLE exam. And now coming back to the internship question. So, Joe, we were talking about internships, right? So, I would like to know that are there any limitations on clinical rotations, internships, or residencies for those on dependent visas?
Okay, so the basically what they do is after they clear the step one and step two of the USMLE, and they've already got a match, or
Mm.
they have got a match, or they have got a hospital which is going to process their visa, right? At
Mhm.
that point they need visa to enter United States, right? So it's either a J1 visa or an H1 visa. so
Right.
so they are on a legal visa, and at that point they won't have any problem. But they have to be tied to the hospital, which is residency, which is within the hospital. The
Mhm.
rotation and everything, it's within the purview of the hospital that has provided them that visa facility, right? So there's no problem once the visa is cleared and they come here.
Right, right. But and also there's going to be no limitations on the kind of internships that they'll be doing.
No, it's all part of their hospital, the medical program and all that. My relative who came here, he's somewhere in Columbus, Ohio. He's got the
Mhm.
full range of it. He's doing research. He's working in a hospital. It's fully comprehensive. There is no limitation at all. It's just clearing the US MLE and
Mhm.
getting here. That's it. Once you're getting to a valid visa, you are
Mhm.
set.
Okay, then there's no restriction, no limitation, nothing at all. You're
Yes,
good to
they will.
go.
They will completely have all those kind of opportunities to build their profile, to finish their residency, to even go to conferences, present their papers. All these are very very important. So another thing that I want to tell people, this is what I learned from my relative. I kept asking him, who joined here in Columbus, is he had a lot of research experience. Okay, so he
Mm.
had gone and presented research papers in conferences. So please don't think that your studying and everything ends with an MBBS. No, if you want to
Mhm.
come to the United States, you have to have a 360-degree experience, which is like clinical research, volunteering, going to like rural areas and helping them out, strong community volunteering service, right?
Mhm.
And what I heard from my relative is a very very strong resume, and I can connect you with that also. And I saw his resume, it was outstanding. He had published 2 3 research papers, attended conferences on that. He cleared the exams and everything. He had multiple universities vying for him because his profile was so good.
Wow. Okay. So when you say strong resume, how can how can these students make their resume strong, and what all things that they need to look for so that their profile stands out, or their profile seems strong?
Excellent. Excellent. For example, let's take Tabassum, who's finished her
Mhm.
MBBS for a year, right? So she should have
Mhm.
finished her residency. Okay, number one is volunteering or community service. So a rural area where they've gone and done community service and authorized it. They need to track their hours and everything, get a very good certificate of recommendation saying that they volunteered in this place. So that's number one, volunteering. Number two is medical clinical experience, right? They have like a practical experience working in a hospital or in a clinic or something. They need to accumulate those hours, right? Again,
Mhm.
with a good institution. Number
Right.
three is research, right? Again, when they are still working, they need to be pursuing. I know it's a lot, but in order to crack the USMLE, you have to be in the top 5%,
Mhm.
right? So you need
Mhm.
to like pursue research in a university or an institution, right? um,
Mhm.
get those opportunities, look for opportunities where you can go present in a conference, right?
Mhm.
About your research. So all these three things are very very important to be in your resume, right, along with studying for the USMLE, right? So the thing is, when you're doing all these things, the questions that show up in the USMLE, you will have a better chance at that. So that's very very important. You cannot say, oh, I finished MBBS but I don't have practical experience. No, gaining those practical experience, having those community service, having done it. See, what kind of people is the United States looking for? A good
Mhm.
doctor. So what
Yeah.
are the qualities that are needed for a good doctor? Empathy, right? Somebody who's kind hearted, who has shown that they can rise to a situation when someone is sick. So they need, and also it's a huge responsibility of saving life. So they need
Mhm.
somebody with that kind of leadership quality, empathy, decision making, critical thinking. All that is very very needed. And how do you show those qualities? Through your actions, through the
Right.
outcome of what you have done, right?
Mhm.
So that
Absolutely.
is the whole mindset change that needs to happen when you are in the US universities. It's always about showing your impact, and it is possible. I know a lot of students who've come from India with their USMLE. I know a lot of my students' parents who have passed the MLE and practicing doctors, right? They are really, really very successful. I know a lot of them. So it is a very, very good opportunity. But right now, it's
Mhm.
becoming even more competitive. So they
Mhm.
have to get all those kind of activities in their resume.
Right, right. And do you have any example of any student who must have had a really strong profile with good volunteer work, and good internships
Okay,
that you can
I'm going
share
to
with
give you,
us?
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm going to cite the same cousin's son,
Oh,
right? So
sure.
he,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, you can go look at his Twitter as well. His name is Rahul Rangan. You can go look at his Twitter. He has posted his whole resume on Twitter.
Wow.
So you
Mhm.
can see that he had 3 research papers. He came to the United States to present his research. So that was how strong his research was. Okay, and
Mhm.
then he studied in Maharashtra, some medical school in Maharashtra. So he did a lot of volunteer work and clinical experience and everything in Maharashtra. He spent a lot of hours. So he had accumulated those kind of hours in volunteering. He had very good stats in the sense his MBBS scores were very good, right? And also he had a lot of clinical experience and, like I said, research. So when he applied, he was a very very strong candidate. Okay, I can even share his resume. It's on Twitter. He has put it, so we can do that. So that is like in a snapshot, it is like that. But when you
Mhm.
look closely, he told me that he had a lot of hands-on experience in the research lab as well. Right, so they're
Mhm.
looking for such strong candidates. Along with that, it's not just about passing the USMLE. They want to see your profile, your 360-degree profile.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And Tabassum is actually back, and she says, "Thanks for the information. I would also like to know about the cost involved for post graduation in USA."
Okay, so post graduation, is it the question is, are you doing the USMLE and coming, or are you just coming here for masters? That is the question, right? And it also
Mhm.
depends on what major you want to go in, and again, like what college you're applying. Again, I have counseled a lot of students who come and apply here for masters. They do get a lot of scholarship. Again, because they were very, very impressive candidates. You need to answer the question which the university asks, what's in it for me? In the sense, like, I'm taking you on in my university. How are you going to contribute and give me back? Right. So
Mm.
if you answer that question and show them, hey, I have this. I had a student who applied to Columbia for an architecture master's. She got in with a lot of scholarship. Okay, it was a very
Mhm.
unique program. Why? Because she was working in sustainability in Chennai, right? So she had a whole portfolio that she had done so much in architecture, right? And so they gave her quite a bit of scholarship, and then she came here and she's doing her masters in Columbia. Okay, then I have
Mhm.
another student in NYU doing biomed, right? So again, her profile was very strong. She had research in her undergrad. She had very good stats, and then she applied, right? So it depends. If you're going to a really high Ivy League, like the top 25, they're going to be expensive. Like New York,
Yeah.
NYU, they're all expensive. But if you go to like tier two colleges, they will be a lot cheaper. Like Rensselaer Polytechnic, I love Rensselaer. It's not mainstream in a major city. It's upstate New York. It's colder,
Mhm.
but it's very, very well known for research, right?
Mhm.
So they want good talent, right? So they will give you a lot of scholarship. Rochester will give you a lot of scholarship. There is Villanova. They're all baccalaureate or master's colleges, right? So
Mhm.
again, it depends on what program that you're applying for and how attractive you are, right? So
Mhm.
once you come on to the campus, like how can you assist the professor? What kind of TA jobs can you do? What can you contribute? So that all adds to offsetting the cost of post graduation, right? For example, my son paid $0 for his master's in Georgia Tech. Why? Because he got a TA, teacher's
Mhm.
assistant. So that covered his fee, right? So
Mhm.
so it was like that. So it depends on how. So he had to interview for that opportunity, right? There was
Right.
a lot of competition. There was multiple TA positions that he had to apply to get it, right? So they're all very competitive, right?
Mhm.
So that is how it is. It depends on where you're applying, what is your major, and everything. But it's really
Right.
worth it. Like investing in education in the United States is what I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, which is why you need to have a very strong profile and you need to stand out from the lot, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joe, for those insightful answers, and thank you so much for explaining so beautifully and in so much detail. Now, with this, I would also like to ask you that are there any organizations or programs that offer sponsorship for dependent visa holders pursuing medical careers?
No, see, everything has to go through the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. So they are called
Mhm.
like international medical graduates and everything, and they have to be certified, right? So they
Mhm.
cannot have any other agency that they can go through. They have
Mhm.
to go through the proper like what we say ECFMG certification for all of that. So they have a whole different governing body that they have to come through for that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, there are a lot more questions coming in. So let me quickly take one more. Amarjeet has been here for a while, so let me take his question maybe. He says, I'm currently on an H4 dependent visa and my spouse is on H1B work visa. I want to pursue a medical degree in the US. What steps should I take to change my visa status to F1 student visa? How will this impact my spouse's visa status? I think this is for an immigration attorney, if I'm not
Yeah, but
wrong,
I can
right?
quickly answer that.
Oh,
If
please go ahead.
right, yeah. So it's education, right? Education
Mhm.
is always very, very good. You don't if you're just going to do your masters here, then you don't really need. You can still do it on your H4 visa. There is no problem, right? To do
Right.
that, but to change to the F1 status is when you want to apply for the OPT and everything. Then it gets a little bit muddled. That is when you need to ask an attorney for that. Yeah, always please ask your attorney, take the proper legal steps. This is my advice. Okay.
Okay. All right. Amarjeet, I hope you have got your answer. Thank you so much for your question. But in case you have a follow-up for Joe, please, you're the more than welcome to post it in the comments below. But Joe, again, I would like to ask from you that is it common for healthcare employers to sponsor dependent visa holders, or is it
Yes.
a difficult process?
It is, see, there is, like, let me tell you, any field in the United States which is
Mm.
short on people, like medical care, they are short on people, right? Like
Mhm.
nurses and
Yeah.
doctors. So they do have a certain amount of visas that are available for, because they need like the talent outside of United States. So they do have international visas. It's not just India. People come from all over the country, right? Sorry,
Mhm.
all over the
Mhm.
world.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
do have visas for that, right? And the dire need of doctors are in rural areas, not the cosmopolitan. Everybody will go to the
Yeah.
cosmopolitan, right?
Right.
But I would say if you really want to come here, like the Midwest, the mid places, which is like very thinly populated and all that,
Mhm.
I've heard from people who come here that they are most likely to sponsor for your residency and everything, right? So but also it
Mhm.
needs to align with the specialty that you're doing. But residency is the number one thing to come into the United States, right?
Yeah.
So that's also possible. And I know of people who come on H4 who are MBBS and then they get into the residency. That is also possible. If you finished your MBBS and you have all those kind of profile, you got married or something and you came here on an H4, then I've seen people applying for the residency, but then they have to be away from their spouse because where they
Yeah.
get the residency is far away from where the spouse is. So that's how it is, right? So that's
Okay.
all possible.
Does this also happen that one particular country gets favored in healthcare sector more than others, or is it the same for all the countries?
I don't think they can discriminate like that. You know how it is.
Because they were saying that there are a lot more people from India in IT sector and then healthcare sector. So that's the reason I wanted to ask this question.
I'm not familiar with that. In the IT
Mhm.
sector, again, they will have quota for every countries, right? That
Okay.
is the IT. IT requirement is a little different. I'm not
Mhm.
familiar with the quota system in the healthcare, but I will
Mhm.
certainly look into that. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much for taking that up. But with that, Joe, also, what should visa holders be doing to increase their chances of securing sponsorship?
Okay, so yes, show, keep building. Don't waste your time. Hustle, right?
Mhm.
That's what I say. Like you're a dependent. Come here, learn driving, right? That's the first thing that I tell them is learn driving. Don't be dependent on anybody, right? Go and
Mhm.
volunteer. In this
Right.
country, there's no dearth to volunteer in a medical care center. Like you're going to hear so many no's. It's like looking for an IT job. You're not going to get it immediately, right? There's so
Right.
many places you're going to hear no, but it's okay, right? Go to the different hospitals that are around you, get familiar with the medical system, brush up everything, go
Mhm.
start building your profile. Is there a research opportunity? Do you know a professor that you can go and like help them out? Look at what are the opportunities that you can apply in your current dependent visa. Don't waste your
Mhm.
time, right? You can go to a community college. You can do something that's very, very within the realm of your thing in building the profile, right? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, again, let me come back to the viewer's question. Ishita is also here. She says, I am on an F2 dependent visa and my spouse is pursuing their master's degree on an F1 visa. I want to enroll in a post bachelorette program to enhance my chances of getting into medical school. Okay. And the
Okay.
second part says which postbachelorate program are suitable for international students on dependent visas, and will completing such a program improve my chances of getting into a medical school?
Okay, so let me tell you this: if you're applying to a medical school, then there is you need to do the MCAT. If you're already here or a USMLE, right? It depends on what is your undergrad degree that you have, right? So
Right.
if you don't have an MBBS and you have a non-medical degree and you're here, yes, masters you can do. I don't know about the F2 dependent visa situation, but biomedical anything that is related to medicine, right? The biomedical field, you can do research and all that apply to masters, right? Biomedical, biotech, right? Biological sciences, biochemistry,
Mhm.
chemistry, all these are related to the medical field. So you can do a master's in that. But again, if you have to apply to a medical career, it's taking the MCAT, right? So
Mhm.
MCAT is the entrance exam to get into med school. So again, you have to
Mhm.
look at their requirement. Do they need organic chemistry? Do they need anatomy? So you need to look into those kind of requirements, then prepare for it, and then applying to the medical school, which is like a very very long drawn process. Medical school in the United States is minimum 8 years. Okay, that's not
Mhm.
enough. Specialization, residency is another 2 years. So it's about 10 to 12 years that you're looking here to study, right? So
Right.
you need to keep aware of that. But biomedical field, medical is very good. And also look at the offers that you get. I wouldn't say just apply to one college, right? Look at different colleges and see where you get the best scholarship. And also you can negotiate. Go to one place and see what acceptance you get, and see if you can match it with another college and get that, right? And
Mhm.
all those options are there. And also here post graduation is always in the evening, right? So it is like after 6 o'clock. So during the daytime you can continue doing something within the realm of your F2 dependent visa, and then do your
Right.
masters and complete it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much again for answering the question. And Ishita, I hope you have got your answer. Thank you so much for your question. Please recommend, any organizations, online committees, or maybe support groups, specifically, for dependent visa holders, in this medical field.
I don't know, but I will look around. I only know some legal people, and then I know this person who counsels people in USMLE. I can ask around and find out if there's kind of support group. If not, we can get it started, right? If there is, we have to help our. I can see and ask around and see if there is. I can ask my relative, right? Rahul
Right.
Rangan, if there's a support group, and he can also mentor. If anybody needs any help, I can put you across to Rahul Rangan, who can help you with any kind of guidance, right?
Great. Thank you so much. Also, okay, let me quickly take maybe before I ask you my question, because here we have people who are asking their questions. So Pratibha's question, let me take. So she says, I'm an international medical graduate on a J2 visa, and I've completed my clinical rotations outside the US. How can I meet the clinical skills requirement for USMLE Step 2 clinical skills, considering my visa restrictions and limited access to US based clinical rotations? Are there any alternative pathways or waivers available for obtaining an ECFMG
Yeah,
certificate?
got it. Yeah, so that's what she's saying. Okay, so basically, if I'm correct, she's finished her first step one. Now she has to
Mhm.
do the step two, which is a clinical rotation. And I can
Mhm.
definitely put you across with Dr. Joyce, is her name. She's the one
Mhm.
who counsels to take the step two of the exam. But based on what she's saying, she needs to finish the step two of the USMLE in order to qualify for step three, which is the ECFMG certification. You get it
Mhm.
right. So if she needs help, please email me at info@giftedgabber.com.
Mhm.
I will connect you with this particular person who will go deeper into specifics as to how to clear the clinical knowledge, the step two of the USMLE. And congratulations on finishing the step one. It's a big step. So definitely, I would like to help you. I will put you in touch with her. I have her email, and I can get you connected, and she can help you further because she goes deeper into it. She's a practicing doctor who came through USMLE, and she guides students into that, and we can certainly help you with that.
Great. So Pratibha, like Joe said, please email her at we can reach out to her on her phone also. You can give her a call at 866-618-9640. You can email her at info@giftedgabber.com. Also, you can visit our website for more information, which is www.giftedgabber.com. Now, coming back to my question, Joe, what alternative career paths in the medical field are available for dependent visa holders if direct medical practice is not immediately feasible?
Research, right? They can
Okay.
join research institutes, right? They can do their masters, right? It's not like you have to give up on your medical license. Like while you're preparing for that, you can go do your masters, right? A lot of our viewers are in New Jersey. Rutgers is a wonderful institution. It's a wonderful research institution, right? It's pretty big. They have a lot of research opportunities that they can continue doing, getting their PhD or something and contribute, right? So that's what it is. Visa restriction should not hold you back
Mm,
if you are super talented, right? I know a
absolutely.
lot. Yeah, I know a lot of opportunities in Rutgers, in Stevens. They're like everywhere, anywhere. Connecticut. They're hungry. We have a very good reputation in. They love Indians because we are educationally very strong, academically very strong, right? And we can take on any hard challenge. So they are very welcoming. So looking for those kind of opportunities is what is most important.
Okay. All right. And also, are there any particular positions that would allow someone to stay within the medical field while building up their qualifications?
Again, it's the same that I mentioned. Anything that's allowed within the realm of your visa, right? That's
Mm,
our
okay.
governing, right? That is like a sword dangling. So
Right.
anything that is allowed, like check with that, and then do that, right? Anything that
Mhm.
is allowable, medically related, volunteering, everything, like carefully plan out your whole process, right? And go with it.
Mhm. Okay. And if someone is planning to shift into medical research, so how might someone shift into medical research, or healthcare administration or public health if needed?
Okay, again, there are so many majors that are available in the masters, right?
Mhm.
Like they can help you with like the counseling and everything. Visit college visit. Where are you located? That depends. I love
Mhm.
the Rutgers University. You can make an appointment with their master's counseling department and go ask them who's the professor, like what are the majors available, what is the opportunity, what is the courses that are available, right? And look for those different kinds of programs, right? As a counselor, I have to visit so many colleges, like to maintain my license. I have to literally go visit colleges, find out what majors they have, what are the opportunities, right? Internships, paid, unpaid, right? And what are the research professors, what are the lab facilities, all that they can go understand near where they are. Or if they're willing to like travel and go out and stay, look for opportunities elsewhere, right?
Okay. Okay. So Pratibha is back and she says, thank you, Jotsna and Rajni. Thank you so much, Pratibha, for your question, and make sure that you reach out and connect to Jo so that she can
Exactly.
help you
Yeah.
more. Mhm.
Absolutely. Please email me Pratibha Chauhan. I'll connect you with this doctor, and she will be able to help you out. She's really good. She lives in New Jersey.
Great. Thank you so much. And Joe, also, do certifications or courses outside the direct medical practice, help in building up their profiles?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of certification it is, right? If you're applying to a particular major and all that, it is necessary. But it depends, right? Clearing the USMLE itself is like so hard. Again, more
Yeah.
than certification, it's like research, right? That's one thing I have seen in a medical field is, did you publish your research paper? Did you work with somebody in Indian Institute of Science or in IIT or any research professor, right? Did you go and present in a conference? Right. So
Mm.
that gives you that kind of authenticity that is needed, which I felt
Okay.
Rahul Rangan had. He had three research papers and he was like hustling. So it shows that you're becoming an expert in one field, right? So
Mhm.
unlike the IT field, in IT field we can get AWS certification or Python
Mhm.
certification, but in a medical thing, it's like more your certification of authentication is research, or you
Yeah.
published your paper or presented in a conference. That is
Mhm.
something that is very very important.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much again for answering the question, Joe. One last question to you. So, there are so many challenges. Clearing the USMLE exam is itself a very big challenge, like you have mentioned again and again. But apart from that, what are the common challenges that are faced by dependent visa holders pursuing a medical career, and how can they overcome these obstacles?
Yeah. Yes. And you know what? The thing is that sometimes what I hear from people is the easiest part is getting in. But then they have all these rotations. That is like a life of a doctor, right? Like the residency, they have 48-hour shifts and all that. That is even harder than this obstacle is being on their foot the whole day and taking care. It's a hard career, right? It's like you're dedicating yourself to taking care of others. So there's no easy way out. A doctor's
Absolutely. People
yeah.
consider you next to God, so it
Yes,
isn't going to be easy, right?
yes, it is kind of hard. I know the
Very hard.
kind of, yeah, I know what my friends as doctors tell me, and who have been through this clinical rotation. They have no sleep, they don't have a life for 3 years, right? The
Mhm.
residency is extremely hard.
Okay. So, do you have any tips of how can they overcome it?
And just bear with it, right? It's like, right, enjoy. This person who's
One
also
step
in the
at a time.
yeah, enjoy it.
Mhm.
They get used to it, right?
Right.
They were in like middle of Pennsylvania. It used to be very cold, right? She had to
Mhm.
go from her apartment to the hospital at 2 o'clock in the night or 10 o'clock in the night. That is something that emergency, that's a doctor's life. Eat healthy, eat your spinach and more protein, or whatever. It's a doctor. So yes.
Okay. And again, how can one stay informed about the changes or that could impact their visa status or maybe their career goals?
Right, of course. I don't know where you can get those kind of information or a newsletter. I will look for resources that are there. Yes, I have to go look and find out more if there are some support systems or some online blogs that continuously update that. That is something that I'll take it as an action item and definitely find for a medically related thing. I can ask the doctor whom I know if there are other opportunities there. But I feel like finding the information was very very hard. Even for
Mhm.
myself to educate myself, it was kind of hard. But then I spent a lot of time with this person who counsels, and she explained everything to me, and I was like, okay, it is complicated, right? Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay, and also, guys, you can stay tuned with Immigration and Jobs Talk Show because this is one stop destination or one platform that is going to inform you each and everything related to, related to immigration and maybe your career in the US because we are going to have these shows with Joe, and Joe will be coming up with more and more information to guide you, to inform you. So just stay updated with Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I think that would be the best for you. Again, thank you so much, Joe, for being here. And thank you so much for such insightful answers. I really enjoyed doing these shows with you. And I did that too, also. So, hoping to see you again soon.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rajni. Thank you for the energy, for bringing in everything, and truly, you could just say jobs and stop at it. No, but you're trying to help different immigrants with their problems, with the job opportunities, and all that. It's a wonderful platform, and it's a pleasure being here. That way, I get to learn. I have to like equip myself with knowledge and come and ask. So it's like refreshing to come here so that I can go and learn more. So I look forward to these sessions.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Joe. And to our lovely audiences, guys, please do reach out to Joe. Here are her contact details. You can give her a call at 866-618-9640. You can also email her at info@giftedgabber.com. For more information, you can also visit her website, which is www.giftedgabber.com. Thank you so much again, Joe. Hoping to see you very, very soon with another exciting topic. Until then, thank you so much and please take care of yourself.
Yeah, happy advanced Diwali. Okay,
Yes,
take
to
care.
you too.
Yeah, thank you.
And yes, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. I know it was a very interesting episode and hoping to see you all very soon. And we have more and more webinars coming up every day. So make sure that you are staying tuned with Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, and you're there to watch all the shows and all the webinars. And if you have any questions, please keep posting them in the comments. We have a lot of experts who will be more than happy to answer your questions. And I'll have to take a leave for now because, yes, like I said, we have more and more webinars coming up. So you join us in those webinars. For now, I'll have to take your leave. I am Rajni Bharara signing off. Bye. You guys keep on subscribing, keep on watching Immigration and Jobs Talk.